Hi everyone, God bless you from wherever you are. God bless you. Just a topic for today is to do with this coronavirus, which has been named as COVID-19. We all know it originated from China. Originally, it originated from China, and of course, that was the epicenter for it. But in the first instance, I want us to know that it is a virus disease. And in science, we have three categories of microorganisms, and one of them is a virus. The other is bacteria. The other is a fungus. But this COVID virus is quite different. It was originally first called coronavirus when it emanated from Wuhan, which was the epicenter far away in China. But the word virus is a Latin word which means slime or liquid, and the liquid is described to be poisonous. Then the word corona originated from a Latin word and is also borrowed further from an ancient Greek word which is called koron, meaning a crown. That is how it became to be called corona, because the genetical makeup, the anatomy and the physiology of the very virus itself, which is named corona, it has got crown-like shapes. Because it's got a crown-like shape, so they gave it the family name, the generic name, which is corona. But there were other coronaviruses which has caused other diseases like the SARS, which is the severe acute respiratory syndrome. It's also a coronavirus. So that's the area first I want to clear a shred of doubt that this disease is from the virus which belongs to the family of viruses which has the shape of a crown. Unlike the other Ebola virus, it is having the shape of a worm. So here, because it has got the shape of a crown, that is why they call it coronavirus. But to be specific, because there has been other viruses prior to this virus, which have got the similar body makeup and physiology, they decided to give it a name called COVID-19. That means coronavirus disease. And 19 is the year it emanated or started. So COVID-19 to be specific. And there have been also other diseases over the past years which has got a similar makeup, that virus, with this type of virus, but it belongs to the same family. Just like you have apples, you have granny apples, you have different types of apples, but they are different in color and shape and size and taste. But you call them apples. So here again, the corona, the virus is called corona because it's got a shape of a crown, because it emanated from a Latin word which was borrowed from a Greek word called koron, which is the crown. So that's just to clear that shred of doubt. And the virus was discovered in the early years of 1892 by a Russian scientist called Dmitry Ivanovsky. He's discovered the virus since then. But one thing about viruses, they don't have a cell and they don't have a nucleus, so they become very difficult to study. They belong on their own kingdom by themselves. So after looking at the anatomy, now we want to look at this type of virus which has just emanated from Wuhan. It belongs to the corona family and it's been given COVID. But this type of virus is the RNA type of virus. That means it's ribonucleic acid present in it. And there are other viruses which belong to the other group, which is the DNA type, the dinucleoacid. The DNA we know is transmits information in your cell. And then the RNA is the one that carries the instructions as a messenger to do protein synthesis. So that makes it different. But having studied it for this short period of time, they discovered that it's an RNA, and the way it is classified, it's classified in this corona family, and it is classified to be an RNA in the subclass to belong to this type of ribonucleic acid present in it. So it's called an RNA. And what are these characteristics it has got? It's got a characteristic, first of all, to mutate in any living cell, which is either a plant cell, an animal cell, or bacterial cell. And it has to find a receptor in order to it to attach and enter your cell. For it to replicate and then develop in an amount within your body that can be invasive to certain cells within your body. And the RNA type of virus also is susceptible to detergents. That means you can wash and clean it easily or get rid of it by using detergents or alcohol-based liquids, which must be within 60 to 70% based of alcohol. It's not the alcohol we drink, this is the isopropyl type of alcohol, because it's got an alkyl nature. It's different from the alcohol you drink, so you don't misinterpret that. So it has also got the tendency to attach to receptors, which are mostly epithelial cells. And these epithelial cells, you find them mostly in your human body around your respiratory tract, your upper respiratory tract. That is your nostril, your pharynx, your larynx, and a bit down just near the trachea. You have two types of cells in this area of your respiratory tract. You have the goblet cells and you have the ciliated cells. The ciliated cells are found in the first entrance of your air passage, which is the nostril. They are like ciliates, they are like ciliated, like just like finger-like objects, with small microscopic. They move upwards in case you have air going in or any foreign particle. They stop it from entering your food passage, because this is your air passage in the front. So when you are eating that or having air in, they will move the air particle which is entering a foreign body upward and just send it down your throat. Then one other characteristic of this type of virus, which is the RNA virus, which is the corona family, which this type of crown-like, finger-like projections, it does not live within an acid media, but it can live within an alkaline media, where you come to look at the pH. That's the potential hydrogen level in your system. So the higher the acidity, that's from a pH of 1 up to 4.5, it can't live. But in a pH of 7, which is neutral, up to a pH which is more than 7, 8, 9, 10, up to 14, it's alkaline, it can survive. So that's why when it enters your mouth, because the mouth is alkaline, it can't exist because you have the salivary glands. So the saliva is alkaline. So but when it enters your stomach, because it has got hydrochloric acid, it can't exist. So based on a little bit of research few people have made about this virus, based on information which is liable, they said when it enters your stomach, it's less likely to cause infection. it is more likely to cause infection around your nostril. And what does it do to your goblet cells and your ciliated cells, which are in your nostril? It damages them and it wears them out. And then the residues of this goblet cell, they tend to go down your trachea and go down to your bronchi, and into your air tubes, which are the alveoli, and settle in and cause cluster in them. So it reduces the amount of oxygen which has to be exchanged from your alveoli into the bloodstream, because that's where gaseous exchange take place. So that reduces it, and what will it cause? It causes a less percentage. Your saturation of oxygen lessens. So you become a weak person. Start to create weaknesses in your body. So that's how it causes problem within your respiratory tract, because that's the only area in your respiratory tract, upper respiratory tract, it has receptors wherein it can attach to. And these receptors, they are membranes, and they are neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters. Anything to do with your neurons. They transmit certain information and hormones and antigens. The antigens are coming as poisonous objects, which is the COVID has already created, and it attaches to your receptors, which are in the goblet and the ciliated ones, and damages them, and then the residues roll down into your trachea, and then it goes down into your bronchus, into your bronchi and bronchioles, and right into your alveoli. And this alveolar small sac in your lungs where the gaseous exchange take place. So when we see things going around the social media, like people saying, oh, Dettol, you can see the inscription on the Dettol, and the Dettol is saying it can prevent the spread of corona. So it makes you a bit confusing. Is this corona has been done for years back, or it's been discovered? But it is telling you that this corona is just the family of diseases. Remember, the SARS disease was discovered years back, and this is the time they made this type of Dettol. So that's why you can see corona written or inscribed on the side of the Dettol. But it's not to do with this COVID. So they are two separate things. So if we separate them, the detergent itself can actually reduce the spread. If you use it to clean up your environment, it reduces the spread of this virus, which is this COVID-19. But it's not to say that this COVID-19 has been in existence for before. So these are two separate things. But because it's also an RNA one, this detergent, the Dettol, can also reduce the spread of the virus. So that's another area again, the shred of doubt could be cleared. So, having looked at this present situation which is going on, the advice to wash your hands frequently after touching a surface which you're not sure if it is a surface that has been touched by somebody with the coronavirus. And people will wear masks to prevent them inhaling the virus. It's not absolutely airborne, but it's somehow airborne, because you are breathing through your nostrils and you exhale through your nostril, sometimes your mouth. That's why they advise you not to touch your face or your mouth after your eyes, because that's the area you have your respiratory tract. So the tendency for it to enter your respiratory tract and then catch up to these goblet cells and the ciliary cells and cause a damage to them. And then they will, during the replication, they will damage them so severe that the residues of this goblet cell will drop down and go and settle down in your alveoli. And you need oxygen exchange. So that will cause less oxygen in you. And then the less oxygen, it causes weakness to your body. It causes weakness to your muscles, because you have a lot of work the oxygen has to do within your system. It is for cellular respiration, or the breaking down of the energy you need, which is the ATP. That's the energy that you need for your cells or your muscle and tissues to work and function well. So they've advised us to wash our hands. Either you use an alcohol-based solution or you use water. And there are 6 steps you follow, apart from the first 2 things you do. The first thing you do, they ask you to open the tap with lukewarm, which is lukewarm water. You get water into your hands, and then you get the soap. If it's in the form of a foam, you get the soap, and you try to rub your arms, which is your palm, both hands, and interlude and cause a lather. After getting the lather, you go on interluding your arms. The next step is your arm to the back of your other arm. You rub them 5 to 15 seconds as fast as you can. And remember, between your fingers this way. The next step, the next arm, same, you repeat. Interlude. Then the next step is to clench the arms this way, and then you rub them each inside. By doing so, you are cleaning the fingernails ends and cleaning the round end of your fingers. And then the next one is your thumb with circular motions up to down, both thumbs. And then after, you clench your hand and then rub them to the surface of your palm in a circular motion again. By doing this, you prevent bacteria from sticking around your finger edges, and at the same time, you are cleaning these edges, these areas you see, small clearers. You are well cleaned in both arms. You repeat both arms, and then your wrists, most likely your wrists. Then you rinse your arm. And when you rinse your arm, if you don't have a towel, if it's a tissue paper you have, which is there in whatever environment you find yourself, you don't just rub it very hard. You damp your arm this way. Because remember, your hand has already been exposed to soap and lukewarm water. Because the soap has got a caustic nature, because sodium hydroxide, so you decide just to damp your hand to prevent your skin from shearing, or in other words, from peeling your cells, these cells of your body too much. So you just damp and then you go. But this you can only do after you suspect that you've touched a surface. As a nurse, after certain procedures, even though you wear your gloves, you still have to wash your hands. For you, the local man in the street, if you sneeze, you have to cover your nose and contain the sneeze with a tissue. If you don't have a tissue, they advise you to use the back of this. But if you have a tissue, contain it and then you dip it in a bin. That's just what you have to do to contain. And then you clean surfaces with a Dettol, because this type of virus is the RNA virus. It's not the DNA type of virus. So, having to know all this, you try and disseminate news coming from an external source of information, say like social media, telling you Dettol has got coronavirus inscribed on it, and then the virus has already been discovered years back. So why are they telling us they don't have a cure for it? At the moment, there is no cure. They're just trying to use basic methods to control the fever and control your oxygen level with some few treatments which they are just improvising as research goes on based on evidence-based practice. Evidence-based practice. Vaccines are still being made, or research is still going on to get a proper vaccine, because it takes a while, especially with virus diseases, to create a vaccine for it. It takes a while. So that's just my piece of advice based on the little knowledge I've got. and the research I've made. And as a St. Franciscan, a science student, we keep the banner high. And it's been a pleasure to give my knowledge that I've tapped from different sources from years back in school, which I hope will help. And there was also some other information going on around about a book which has prophesied about this coronavirus in dark ages and then the end of the days, something like the dark eyes. I think one was written by a guy from China, which was years back. And there was one which was written by another psychic teacher. But these are all just things. You don't want to deviate your idea from focusing of how you have to prevent it. Instead of concentrating on saying they have said it, it is here, and they've prophesied it. No, you want to see what you can do to control, curtail, and contain. Prevent, curtail, and contain. You focus on the present information instead of you getting distracted by external forces that they've said they all can cure coronavirus, so the disease has been for years. No, it's the corona family of virus that has mutated to another form, which is now the COVID, and this type is the RNA type of virus, and not a DNA one, which can be controlled by using detergents, or it cannot exist or survive in an acidic media or environment. It can only survive in an alkaline environment. So if you have touched your mouth, rinse your mouth, spit out, or just swallow. It's not 100% that it's going to be safe, but it's better it goes to an alkaline media which has got hydrochloric acid. I might not be right, but I think based on the research I've made, I think that's just my little advice I've got. That the coronavirus is a family which has been discovered years back, but this COVID is just the same family, but it belongs to a different category. So God bless you. But remember that of it all, read Psalm 91. That is the best prophecy God has prophesied. God has prophesied it in his book, Psalm 91. For you, the Muslims, there is somewhere in the Quran also is saying about the last days. So read them instead of concentrating on those books which have been written. And then you start to disorientate yourself from focusing that there is a disease existing. How are we going to contain it? God bless you. And remember to keep the banner high. As a Franciscan, greetings from Manchester, United Kingdom, and bless you and keep safe. Bye for now.